I'm a big guy on systems and creativity. Creativity can't be systemized. It's not possible. It's scary because they might mess up, but at one point you can't run the show by yourself.
In today's episode, I'm going to sit down and talk to Milan Smets, the co-founder of Playstack. Milan started as a videographer and video editor himself, and now he found himself in the shoes of a leader who is managing multiple channels and multiple people overall, so his scope of work changed massively. I'm super excited to have him on the show to share his tips how to get started in content marketing. What are the most important tips that any business or personal account should start on YouTube or any type of social media page? And what is it like to start a creative agency? We're gonna discuss about systemizing creativity, hiring the right people, and the 3 important tips that everybody should know about video marketing and content marketing. So let's get into the episode. Hi Milan, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you? Hello.
I'm great. We've been like friends for probably more than a year now, and I kind of saw your company growing from zero. And today I just want to ask you about video marketing, how you guys do it at Playstack, and just overall about you as a marketer and leader.
Sure, yeah. So I'm Milan. I'm originally from Belgium. I live in Vietnam for 5 years now. I got a little cute ass daughter. And I have a fiance here as well. Currently, I'm running or co-founded Playstack, what is a YouTube accelerator, and we kind of now also provide B2B leads. That's our aim. My background is in filmmaking and video editing. I taught everything myself while traveling. Really got into video and stuff like that. So besides Playstack, I manage other people's channels. I create a lot of content, or used to at least. Like now, I'm getting very busy. Sometimes I go back into commercial editing as well. Just depends on what's on offer. But basically, all video related stuff and editing related stuff.
Amazing. How do you decide to like kind of break free from actually doing the creative work to kind of manage multiple editors and
I
yeah.
wish I could give you there a straight answer to that. The only thing I can do is share my experience in that in the last definitely year and a half. That's how long we've been running Playstack, and it's difficult because I really focus. I like quality or the effectiveness of content. So has sometimes that's quality, but sometimes that is um, just getting the right content out, right? Because we at Playstack, for example, say all the time that the idea is always most important. Now, to handing it over, it's you burn out first and then realize you can't do it by yourself. And so you hire someone. And I've been talking to maybe by now over 100 editors or hundreds of editors, and tried at least dozens and dozens of them. There's plenty of better editors than myself and things like that. And skills is always one thing, but what I always come back to is 3 in people that will help you grow and being able to trust that person. Number one is enthusiasm. I know it sounds very cheesy, but I prefer someone massively enthusiastic over someone that is very skilled, because skills I can teach them. I like, give me a few months and they'll do whatever I need them to do. That's no problem. But enthusiasm is really difficult. So enthusiasm comes from like believing in the cause or the content or the team, like there's a team environment that helps as well. Second one, curiosity. And that probably goes hand in hand in many ways. But curiosity is also like, okay, instead of just sticking to the plan, like what can I do better, or what else can I do, and experiment a little bit here and there. And then the third one is tenacity. So
What
when
is it?
something doesn't go as planned, tenacity.
Tenacity. What does that mean?
So there's like uh, English is also not my first language. So what is another word for it? It's like willpower.
Okay.
So when something doesn't go right from the first time, and like they can't figure it out, and then they just continue to go at it. Like what can I do to make this work? And then back to curiosity, for example, is like, are you asking questions rather than just accepting? Like, there's like this typical thing in an interview. If you hire someone, it's like, do you have any questions? Like, oh no, everything is okay. It's like, so there's like nothing you want to know, like there's nothing else, like you just accept it and that's it. So yeah, those are three things that I'm looking at now. And I mean, I have a little bit of data around it in the sense that this is how many people I've worked with, this is what I look at for skills, and I can tell that someone that is highly skilled but low on those three traits will not last, especially in Playstack, because we're a happy bunch of people. We want to do stuff and we want to get shit done, but in a fun way and in a healthy environment. Versus people that are just enthusiastic and it's like, hey, please teach me more. Please show me how to do this, and then I'll mentor those people. And so back to your question is like, what's the answer? Well, it's finding the right people, and the right people is tied into those three traits for sure. Now, there's a catch to it. Those people are usually A players because they're really good people. So they'll end up wanting to do their own thing as well. So you train them all the way up, but then you have the chance to lose them again because like the environment of the company is maybe not big enough and they need to go and do their own thing again. And that's the risk you have to deal with. But it's better that and have them for a year or two than having someone that is not interested in and it doesn't last as long.
Hi, thank you so much for listening to this far into the episode. And if you want to meet successful online entrepreneurs and SEOs just like you, make sure you join the SEO Mastery Summit from April 7 to 11 in the center of Ho Chi Minh City. We'll have over 15 international speakers coming from all over the world and attendees joining to make connections and build their businesses to their best potential in 2024. So our first SEO Mastery Summit event sold out, so make sure you grab your tickets today because we are increasing prices at the end of every single month. So I'll hope to see you there, and let's get back to the episode. I know you were talking in the context of video editors, but I feel like this is also applicable for most roles. And just, when you hire a social media person or you hire like an assistant or an SEO, like you just want people who just want to do the work in a very kind heart and hard work. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, part of that is you need to provide the environment and the space to do so, right? Like you need to provide a space for them to fail, let's say, and experiment and make that a habit and a culture within, instead of like, I don't want you to mess up. And it's like, oh, people get stressed out and they get rigid, they get, yeah, non-flexible and they'll start messing up more. And that doesn't get you anywhere. I like experimentation. I like creativity. And I mean, yeah, I always joke around. I'm trying to systemize creativity, but obviously that's impossible. But
Same,
yeah,
same. Like I feel the same way. At one point, I think I wrote on my Facebook that half of my brain is like creative, and the other half just want to be like a systematic productivity robot.
yeah.
And it's just they just hate each other. Like my brain is always like that's why I have anxiety. Like I don't fucking know what I want to do. Like, do I want to
So
just go and create crazy things, or I should just sit down, make a plan, and then repeat, rinse and repeat?
yeah, so I do have a thought process around this in the sense like, yes, you can't systemize creativity, but what you can do is take away all the decision fatigue that is needed to make those creative choices. And what I mean with that is like and then we'll go back to video editing, right? And this could be applicable to anything. There's a part of the process that is just repetition or technical or skill based. And if you provide a roadmap for all those things, brand guidelines, like specs of the video, structure of the video, request, script, whatever it is, and you provide all of that so that they don't have to think about it but just have to do it, then there's not such a thing as decision fatigue. Because usually it's like a lot of people have to do all of these things, but then they're too decision fatigue to actually put their creativity behind it. And so that's where frameworks come in, and that's where roadmaps come in. And so that, okay, let me do all of that, tack, 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 and then okay, I can focus on the creativity. And so I'm a big like guy on systems and creativity, as well as Mike, for example. Like anything you do more than once, you create a system for. Now I'm even so extreme and failed at it in the sense that like I started creating systems before I even did it. And so you don't have the full idea yet. So what I would say is like anything that is unscalable in the sense like manual work and you have to do it over and over without a system, do it first so you know where the bottlenecks are and where the systems need to be in place and what is actually needed, and then start putting those systems in place. And so
I
yeah,
love
that
that.
that is one of the biggest, because creativity can't be systemized. Like it's not possible.
So rather than creating, like systemizing the creativity, you just kind of take away everything that the creative doesn't have to worry, and then give them the space and the time to kind of explore that, which is awesome. I think that's something I've done before. And that's why I really doubled down on my creative briefs, so that by the time it gets to my editor or my graphic designer, I already have the main idea written down, or even like link to examples that I want to kind of get inspired by, so that the creative person, like, okay, this is what she's seeing.
Yeah. Briefing is always super important in what we do in the creative space, and systemizing that brief, right? So that it's not, people don't have to go and look for different things every time, but like they can expect whatever to fill in where and when. That works for us so far.
Amazing. So now let's talk about Playstack a little bit. So can you like give us a kind of overview? What is it like to run a video marketing agency? What's your daily routine like, for example? Let's start with that.
Yeah, so from a practical standpoint, I'm co-founder, but I'm also, let's say, head of production, or I overview everything, right? But underneath me, I have a channel manager. And so I'll go back to what we actually do is we have two main offers where we either manage your whole channel, and this starts at video ideas to scripting. The only thing the clients need to do is actually film themselves, because most of them are in the US. And then we do the editing, thumbnail, uploading, the whole optimization with tags and title and stuff like that. And then we also do the feedback and the analytic brief. Right now, this for every step of the way is different fulfillments. We have thumbnail designers, we have video editors, and then we have the channel manager who glues everything together. So I have someone doing that. I'm still, unfortunately, doing all the, or most of the QC, especially with newer clients, so that I'm sure that the brief is right and stuff like that. I still do all the hiring as well. I mean, we're not that big of a company yet that I can outsource all of these things. My day to day, clients are active in the morning and the evening for us, because it's usually a 12 to 15 hour difference, as they're living, most of them, East Coast. So that's literally 12 hours. So that works all right. So that's communicating with the clients in the morning, updating, and in the evening. For me, it's a lot of like just making sure the clients are happy. So channel success is like on my side as well, as I prefer doing that. And then we have a mastermind, and our mastermind is like a community of business owners or YouTube channel owners, but we focus B2B, so it's usually just businesses, and where we provide kind of unlimited consulting on YouTube, but also on other places, like if you need help with your email campaigns or with your landing pages, we have partnerships with other people, like conversion wise, that help with that, for example. And then we do weekly calls there. So every Wednesday for us, Wednesday evening in Vietnam, we do like an hour call where we go over like what's the latest, what is like another framework we've been working on, what is a content strategy we've been working on. Then we do like some Q&A, of course, as well. It's like what's your biggest bottleneck, how can we collectively overcome that. And with those partners, we're also doing like separate calls. So either is that like with conversion wise, they basically like burn your landing page or like roast your landing page, and then like explain how it should be. So that helps them, because the idea is, right, you get viewers, and from those viewers you want to convert those into buyers, right? But anything in between needs to be fixed as well. Like it's not like you make a YouTube video and they buy off you. Like usually there's a whole email campaign in between, including a landing page, including a form for signups, and all of these little details we help you with. And so that's that. We also started doing podcast offerings, so covering all of that. We actually launched our own podcast not too long last week, and doing that now in our own YouTube channel. We've been so busy with other things that we didn't even have time to run our own channels yet, so we're doing that full out. For the rest, that's Playstack. Like it's very flexible for me when and what I do. One of the things that I had to do to make it work is a quote from one of my mentors is like, you need to step away for others to be able to step in your footsteps. And if you continue to do the work yourself, nobody else can do it or learn from it, right? Same with the systems. You need to experience it before you can actually systemize something. And so that's the same with the work. Now it's scary because you're like, they might mess up, or they might not get the results that the client wants and stuff like that. But at one point you can't run the show by yourself,
Yeah.
right? So that's one of the things, and it's continuously like training, feedback, like being very open, like, hey, this wasn't great, can you do this better, or let's work on this, or like, what's the bottleneck here, why is it not working? It's like, oh well, doesn't work for me to do it this way. It's like, okay, let's figure out a way, you know. That's Playstack. But on the other hand, I'm just doing a lot of other media stuff as well for other people.
I think that you are like a prime example of I'm doing everything and I'm still okay. And I think a lot of people should learn from you. Like I look at you as a very hardworking person too, hence why you're on the podcast. And just to like show people like what one person is capable of. Like you're running a full company, you are building up offerings, you're taking care of clients and taking care of your employees, plus running other projects on the side. So I think in summary is that for anybody who's listening is that you can do a lot as long as you kind of understand systems and yeah, like just keep going at it. Yeah.
I must say though, like for example, we had Lunar New Year TED the other like last week, right? So I had to take over everything because our channel manager is Vietnamese, so he took a week off. That was again one of my most stressful weeks in a while. Reason being, also it was an opportunity for me to look behind the curtains again. I was like, hey, what's working, what's not working, and so that's something that actually needed to be done. That was good. Now, like you can do a lot. Again, systems is one way, or you don't have to outsource everything at once. You can just give away certain things. Like I'll tell someone, you take care of all the shorts for all the clients, not just you handle one client, but you handle this asset of the business or this side of the business, because that's the whole system together, right? Because that's a separate editor, that's a separate process that needs to be done. And so you can look at that different ways. And so they're handling that while I'll still do the QC. I tried having my own editors. Like I have in-house editors and freelance editors. I had my in-house editors try and do the QC, but they're busy as well and they don't work on the schedule. And QC is usually, we talked about this just before the podcast. If you don't do your QC on time, they can't move on to the next step of the edit, and then the edit is delayed. So I want to shorten every thing in between. It's hard to say. Like there's an advantage and a disadvantage of having multiple people. Multiple people creates friction and time delay. So you need to find and look where you want to implement people and where not, and if it makes sense to just do it yourself quickly. I know the giants are listening to us in the sense like, I can't run a business with 100 people. Like I'm not doing it myself. Like, okay, we're a lot smaller. So like I said, everything is handed over step by step.
I like that. I like that. So with that, now that you have shown us like an operational side and challenges and how you resolve them, what are like some 3 things that you have picked up and like a quick tip kind of thing for video marketing or just running your video marketing agency?
Just for content marketing or for people wanting to run an agency?
Let's start with content marketing first.
So if you're in the market to do content, so either you just have a business and you want to do content marketing, the number one thing is just get started. Just do it. It's gonna look horrible. It's gonna be horrible, but it needs to be done. And this is, I'm repeating myself. You need to get something to make it better, right? We believe strongly in the 1% rule, and like one of the things that we preach is as well, like on YouTube, even if you don't have 50 videos on your channel, if you don't have 100 videos on your channel, what are you gonna do? Like and especially because you're a business, you're usually in a very tight niche, so there's not a large audience out there. But if you create the right content for the audience that is out there, then you don't need many views. So just get started. If you're really scared or apprehensive of starting long form content, start with shorts. Pick up your phone, talk to the phone for 60 seconds, deliver a piece of value, right? That's one way of doing it. So just get started, get your repetitions in, then get better. Once you are able to create a quality piece of content where you think like, okay, I'm quite happy with this, then focus on consistency. Okay, so a lot of people are always like, oh, if I'm gonna do YouTube, then I need to post every week, right? It's like, well, ideally, yeah, but can you do it? It's like, no. then don't. Why should you? Just get stuff out. Like, look, as a business, content is our sales assets. It's like literally tools you can use to help people convince to buy from you, you know? That's how simple it is. So just get them out, get higher numbers, no matter how often you post, just get it done. Once you then have consistency and quality, you can then look into all the repurposing. Like, once you have a long form video, you have all your short form videos, then you turn that into text-based stuff for LinkedIn, for blog posts, for all of that stuff, right? So you can do podcasts. Like, I always say podcast is the easiest because we're literally just having a conversation and you don't have to come up with your own content. You're using someone else and it's a collaboration tool. So my audience is your audience. So I love podcasts. I did started my own a few. I'm giving a lot of tips already. Is that 3 or is that just 1? Anyway.
I think that was 3, but like I love how you elaborate on, because it also shows your journey, and it also shows like how hard it is in the beginning. Like, I've been running the show for 8 months or something, and I just got to my first 1,000 subs like in the last few
Congrats.
weeks, which is like, it feels super like crazy because I never thought about that number. I just kept going and going and going, right? And as you said, like slowly you get into the habit, and then you get into the quality control, and then you get other people to help you, and then all that stuff. So it is a hard, it's a long ride, and it's not over. Like 1,000 is nothing yet, right? But it's
No.
some milestone to get to somewhere higher.
Yeah, for sure. And the fun thing is also, like, you've made all this stuff and it's not for nothing. You know, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, and it's the also a platform where discoverability is the maximum out there. A video that is 5 years old can still get you thousands of views every single day, right? Like, what we did at Playstack is based off what Mike did with his channel. He created a whole system on how to manage the channel, but his specific business is having a YouTube channel, generating traffic to sell courses, right? But funny enough, the videos the videos that gets him the most sales are videos that are made in 2016, 2018, and still to today gets him sales, dozens of sales every month. So look at video as sales assets. And that's why the idea, and I'm saying the idea of your content is most important. And the idea in a business sense means, is it relatable to your ICP, to your ideal customer persona, right? Like, who do you want to sell to? Whatever you create doesn't make sense that you create for them. Are you answering their questions? Are you providing value for them? Are you, like, one of my favorite content strategies is just being one like touch point for news. Like, there's an update in your niche, like let's say finance, because we had a lot of success in the finance niche. Anything that happens in the finance niche, cover it, give your opinion on it. You become an authority leader and a go-to to listen to it. People don't like the news, but they like someone's opinion on the news. You know, people don't like a sports event, but they like the commentary of that sports event, you know?
Yeah.
So that's like, providing updates and news is also one of the easiest ways to grow for your business.
Amazing. I think that you have given a lot of tips here too, and not just for individuals, for businesses as well. And what is your other, I don't know, advice for somebody who would like to start a creative business?
Work for free. It sounds stupid, but who are you and what have you done? And you can't do anything until you've provided value to someone in whatever way it is, right? And even big agencies who are doing 7, 8, 9 figures up to today will still work for free if it's for the person that they want to attract. And so how do you do that? You're not going to approach someone and say, hey, can I work for free for you? Yes, it could work, you know, like, there's one way, like, people are like, okay, maybe. But it's like, look, this is what I've done for you. And they're like, oh, wow, like, I haven't even asked for anything. I haven't even put this out there, but you've created value for me. So if you want to become, let's say, a short form agency, you take someone's long form video, you repurpose it for shorts, and he's like, hey, I thought this was really interesting and I wanted to see if the shorts that we create can provide value to you. Here, I've done 5 already. If this interests you, I can do a few more, and maybe we can do something together later on, you know? Some of my long lasting, like, freelance clients, or they've been because I started for free, you know, or if you don't have experience, you need to start somewhere. So that is always my biggest one. Also, again, back to the 3 traits: show enthusiasm, show curiosity, and tenacity, in the sense that, like, I can be valuable to you, and then they can be valuable to you then. and then you to them, something like that.
I like that. And it's like you immediately give an advice how to get the client, which I like that, because a lot of people who want to start an agency, they start marketing themselves for free. And then instead of like immediately go to the client or like the potential client and basically get them, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest thing you can do is, or the number one thing that will help you close more sales is getting testimonials. And how do you get testimonials? By getting clients. But if you can't get them because you don't have the work done or you don't have any portfolio done, do work for free and gather testimonials. Work for a friend, like, hey, can I do this for you? And then they'll give you a testimonial. So like the idea is to get case studies and testimonials you've worked on, and so it's like proven value to someone else, and it's like, okay, cool, based off this, I'll hire you.
Awesome. Awesome. Amazing. And now that we're coming to the end of the podcast, what is your number one advice for your younger self?
Do more of that. Experiment. One thing, and I posted about this on LinkedIn today, is that, so I'm 28 now, and I always compared myself with
So young. What? What? Okay, I thought you were older. Sorry, but so
no,
young.
I aged in the last year since my little one was born. But anyway, so where was my where was I? Ah, yeah. So I wrote that because I was comparing myself to people, those outliers who are young, and there's a lot of these people that are coming up like, I'm only 18-year-old and I'm running an agency and I make 20,000 a month. I was like, dang, how the hell do you do that? But how many people actually succeed in that? And you can't compare yourself to them, you know. And so I decided for the rest of my 20s, I'm not trying to reach goals, but my only goal actually is to get more experience. And that's why I'm doing so much. That's why I'm still in the trenches. That's why I'm still editing. Like I still do commercial editing. I still do some YouTube editing here and there. Now I do it in my own style, so not necessarily for clients, depending on the client, but it's just like, just do stuff, get experience, rack it up, you know? Like that's something nobody can take away from you. And so build, gather up that experience. And then what I've been realizing lately is like, I can, like, especially on this podcast, I can say this because I've been through that and nobody else can take that away. So I'd say get as much experience as possible. And if you start from zero experience, then literally just offer your services for free. But as long as you provide value, not be a distraction to someone else.
And what? What was the ending? Sorry. Get as
So
much
provide
experience as
value to
possible.
someone else as long as you're not a distraction.
Oh, can you elaborate on that actually? What does it mean?
Okay, so like I said, you can work for free for someone, but then put all your efforts behind it. Don't become more time consumed for that person, like because they have to manage you, right? Like you might work for free, but money is not their biggest currency. Money, they can make money, but if you're taking away valuable time for them without giving them a return on it, that's still them paying you for their time. So don't be a waste of their time, and just provide massive value, no matter if you work for free or not.
Amazing, amazing. All right, I think that's really great conclusion, and probably one of the most profound ones as well. I think overall for both personal development and for future companies. And if people would like to reach out to you, how can they find you?
I've been really active on LinkedIn, so just Milan Smets on LinkedIn. I post daily. That's one of my goals lately. I think I'm on a 3-month streak, so that's pretty dope. Yeah, that's probably best to find me there. And then for Playstack, it's just playstack.co, and we're on YouTube, Playstack Accelerator. Yeah, that's about it.
Amazing. All right, I'll see you soon, Milan, and thank you for joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So in today's episode, like I learned so much, and I hope you guys learned as well, because I didn't know how much work it is required to own and run a creative agency. But as you guys heard, Milan is like involved in most of the processes, and he is still the one hiring people and vetting people and making sure that everybody is in the right place. For me as a friend, watching him grow as a mentor is also something very inspiring, and I hope you guys could take note of those. Also, like creativity and systems are often like beating each other. As I said, sometimes I'm thinking like a content creator, sometimes I want to think like a productivity machine, but somehow finding the sweet spot in between those two is one of the things that Milan also talked about that was super enlightening or inspiring again for myself, but I hope for you guys too. So let me know if you found it interesting and what were the three key takeaways that you guys learned from this episode. And of course, if you have any questions on the show, I can answer you on the Aspiring CMO podcast as soon as possible. So make sure you check the link to my Google form in the description or in the show notes, and just ask any marketing career related questions. Ask me what you want to ask other guests, so I feel you guys are more involved in the show. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it and referred it to someone else. And I see you on Thursdays. Bye.